Hi guys, so we know that there's a shortage of heavy goods vehicle drivers due to Brexit, and we know that there's a shortage of fruit and vegetable pickers due to Brexit, but the shortage doesn't stop there. Many industries that have traditionally relied on foreign workers are experiencing shortages as a consequence of Brexit as well, especially when it comes to food production. The lack of staff isn't just slowing down the process. This shortage of workers is resulting in food being thrown away at a time when food bank usage is increasing. One case in point is Alfred G. Pierce in Norfolk. The staffing levels are down from 20 to 30% on previous years. Brexit and the pandemic is to blame, but while the impact of the pandemic is severe, it is short term. Brexit is a different story. So what has been the government's response to all of this? Have they done a U-turn, which incidentally would have been welcomed, and reversed the idiotic policy of ending freedom of movement? No, the Home Office's solution is to tell businesses to invest in the domestic workforce rather than hire people from abroad. Alfred G. Pierce is located over 3 sites and produces about 60,000 tonnes per annum of parsnips, carrots, sweet potatoes, butternut squash and onions. It supplies both supermarkets and distributors in the food industry around the UK. A spokesman for the company said that a labour-intensive industry like his is really struggling due to the lack of workers available. He said that this is partly due to the pandemic, but also a result of the structural issues connected to Brexit. The pandemic over the last year has meant that many businesses had to reduce staffing levels in order to maintain social distancing. It has resulted in fewer workers operating, which has resulted in some cases of burnout and workers leaving the industry. Due to the problems of moving from the EU to the UK during the pandemic has also hit the industry. However, Brexit, no matter how much the government try to hide it, is the real problem, both short-term and long-term. The ending of freedom of movement and the new points-based immigration system brought in to replace it has meant that it has become more difficult for British firms like those in food growing and processing to hire staff from abroad. The response from the Brexiteer government is hire British people. But there are a number of problems with that. Generally, these jobs are low paid at the initial stage, meaning that you can make money, but it requires you gaining a lot of experience and putting in a lot of hours. Most British people don't want to do that. Let's be honest. Working in fields or factories is on many occasions back-breaking work, and few people want to engage in it, if they believe there is an alternative. In regards to farming, many times it requires spending weeks or even months away from friends and family, and perhaps living on site. This again is something that most British people are unfamiliar with and perhaps unwilling to adapt to. So, by suggesting that the industry just hire people from Britain, they're living in cloud cuckoo land. It may be possible in the future, but it would require structural change in both the industry and employment legislation. Does anyone really think that the Tories are willing to do that? My fear is that those on universal credit may eventually be forced into these jobs under threat of sanctions. The spokesman for the vegetable producers said that his company relies on just-on-time deliveries, meaning lorries have to arrive, pick up the produce and leave as soon as possible to deliver it to the customer. But due to the driver shortage, this is no longer the case. Lorries arrive late or leave late due to the company's lack of staff, meaning that some deliveries eventually arrive at their destination, but they are rejected because they aren't fresh enough. This is costing the company thousands of pounds per week. Another producer, Fresh Farms in Cambridgeshire, has lost tens of thousands of pumpkins this year as they can't find the staff to clear the weeds from the fields. A spokesman for the farm said that it's seeing what other farms are seeing around the country, that Eastern European workers who would normally operate in the fields are no longer available since Brexit. The farm at the moment is struggling to find 20 to 30 people to work picking, washing and packing the remaining pumpkins. While the government has temporarily increased the numbers of visas available, this may not be enough to deal with the problems so late in the day, or should I say so late in the season. I've said before, and I believe this is part of a bigger plan to force people to work. If companies can't hire staff from abroad, and the Tories want these firms to hire British people, but British people don't want to do the jobs, then in my eyes the logical conclusion for the Tories is to force people on universal credit to do the jobs under threat of sanctions. Under such a regime, this will keep the companies happy as they will have cheap or free labour. It will keep the racists happy as they will see fewer foreigners, and it will be shown as a Brexit victory. Look at how Project Fear, the idea that we wouldn't have enough staff to pick fruit and vegetables, was proven wrong. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?